Oh no, that's the wrong scene. There's me and Cam at the same time. Hold on, we want Dom.
I've been good. I've been good. Yeah. 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 Someone is definitely taking care of me. Hmm. Yeah. 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 I, at this at this point, I'm just gonna do Cyberpunk in Starfinder. What? Oh.
I have to go grab my microphone from another channel. Okay, hold up. All right, can you hear me now? Okay, sweet. Well, I said a lot of really clever and witty things. Anyways, let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Dob was just telling me how his games are going, and I was bragging that I haven't joined any extra games or started any extra games. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been a 2-game person for
Mhm.
for a good while now, which is
Okay.
good. And I tried to join a 3rd game for a Starfinder game, and it fell apart after 3 sessions. But
Damn.
that's what happens when you go to start playing games. But hey,
Hey,
no, it's
whoa!
okay.
Hashtag not sponsored for sure, but yeah. Okay. Here was the thing that I thought was nice. I mean, we're obviously here to talk about DirkCon, and we're going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right away, I'm going to say the reason I'm talking about this stuff is what was nice about DirkCon was we got to design and run and play some games, and it didn't count against our New Year's resolutions of not playing too many games. So that was pretty nice. A little loophole, you know what I'm saying? A little loophole there. But let's talk about DirkCon just as a concept real quick. So last year, we found out that our friend Dirk, he had ALS. It was terminal because that's how ALS works, and it was hard. It was hard to grapple with. It was hard to understand. But we were all like, well, let's keep playing games, I guess. And the idea was kind of floated around that, what if we ran a convention online that Dirk could attend? So it would be like one last gaming convention, and we did, and it was a lot of fun. It was very busy. There were a lot of games. Dirk played in a ton of games, and he had a blast. And I heard from his friends and family later that year at the funeral that it meant a lot to him, and that he was so happy that we hosted it and we held that and all that. And grief is a heavy thing to carry, and it's everything like this one Minotaur used to say, many hands lighten the load, you know what I'm saying? So like when it came time again for, May and DirkCon, it was kind of like, well, let's do it again. And I think it was very good. I think the games were all very fun. I think everybody had really good attitudes. I think we got to try out a lot of different things, got to meet a lot of new people. I am very tired because I was either in or streaming a game pretty much the entire time because we didn't have a lot of streamer coverage, and I did think that, the time that was spent on the games and designing the panels and the activities and stuff like that, I did feel that it was deserving of being preserved, as it were, for posterity. So that was tough. That was tough to be everywhere at once. It felt like trying to cover everything. So for anybody that was able to run a game, playing a game and stream a game, or any combination of those things, like that was huge and greatly appreciated. We also used the event as a means to sort of draw attention to not only the man that Dirk was and the gamer that he was, but also to a charity that was very important to him, which is the Butt Humane Society, where he lived. And then also planting trees. It's good. If that's not your cup of tea, we also had links to 2 ALS institutions that are at the forefront of researching the disease, maybe someday a cure. So we kind of had links for that. Everything was very casual. We were not handling donations ourselves. This wasn't like Extra Life. There was no like fundraising goal. There was no like counter that we were like checking in with. There were no prizes for donating a lot of money. So I can confidently say with no accuracy that because all the donations were quiet and private, we could have raised over $5 million this weekend. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
It's like the cat in the box, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's Schrodinger's donations, right? As long as we never open the box, we'll never know for sure. But I know that this is a very giving community, and I know that our viewers are fucking loaded, because a lot of them are furries, so you know they're fucking loaded. So I can only assume that we raised at least $5 million over the weekend. So big pat on the back to everybody involved. Way to go. Again, I don't have any way to prove that we did or did not raise $5 million for charity this past weekend, and that's kind of refreshing. It's kind of refreshing. But I do hope that some people did go and and donate, or at least learn something, because up until Dirk got his diagnosis, I didn't even know what this shit was. I was like, this is the ice bucket thing. I didn't even know why people were doing the ice bucket thing. Like, it didn't. I was so disconnected from it, and it's a terrible thing. Yeah, it's a terrible thing. So I do hope that they do find a cure eventually, and that the more people know about it, are able to handle it in the sort of emotionally mature way that our server and our community is able to handle it. Because it was hard, but we rallied around him, because like, what else were we gonna do? Dude was great. So hopefully we did his memory some justice and played the hell out of some games this weekend.
I can confidently say we did.
Yeah. So we started things off. I got the whole YouTube playlist right here that was definitely all the way assembled well before the 5 minutes before we started streaming.
Exactly.
I'll throw that link in the chat. But basically, things started off with Darby, and he had a panel. And I've been to a lot of conventions, and I'm going to tell you right now, this was probably more professional than most panels you've ever been to at a convention. Because he actually had a slideshow presentation. He wasn't just standing up on the stage, pulling things out of his butt, okay? He did the math. There was some actual math here, and it was kind of incredible. So I did learn what I already knew. I'm really bad at making balanced encounters, and I could probably work on that a little bit more. But the primary focus was on Pathfinder 2e, because that's what Darby is into right now. But because Pathfinder 2e is such a well-oiled machine, and such a math-heavy machine, it made for a good example. So finding out like the different, spread of action economy across all 20 levels of monsters, this is the kind of stuff that, I would tease Pathfinder kids about getting excited about, but I too was excited to learn a lot of this stuff, and I did take some knowledge with me.
I definitely learned a lot from that panel. The thing that got me the most was how like action economy breaking moves were more found in the lower level monsters than the higher level ones. It made me because whenever I'm making my monsters, I was hesitant on doing that on lower level monsters. But seeing that most of the monsters at lower levels are the ones that do have it, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't have to be afraid to do that.
I think there's a number of reasons. One is the majority of games are played at lower levels, so they want, more fun,
for sure,
more fun, interesting, spicy stuff up front. The other thing that we kind of suspected as a group of panelists and an audience was at higher levels, there's so much going on. Like maybe you don't need all that extra stuff, and then monsters generally have spell access too. And so that kind of introduces a lot of variety for what they could be doing. So, and they have AoE moves, which are basically multi-action moves when you think about it. So that was cool. Then after that, we had the second year of Kobold Heist, which is a modified honey heist run on Foundry VTT. And I've run a lot of games in 30-something years. God, 32 years, something crazy like that. I've run a lot of games, run a lot of one-shots. This might have been one of the finest one-shots I've ever run, ever. It was really good. Like, it was really good. Very, very fun, very silly, very, like, meta humor. It was contemporary fantasy, a lot of veiled societal commentary on the world in general and the genre of TTRPGs, video games, heroes and villains, all that kind of stuff. It drew heavily from, minions, because kobolds and our minions are kobolds. But yeah, it was a great time. It was a really great time. I had a great group of players.
every single time I turned into it, it was just laughs.
Yeah, we were killing ourselves with the laughs. It was nuts. It was also fun to see Terry, who played Reset in Odyssey Prime Reset. And Annalora in Skull and Shackles, coming out of retirement to play some games this weekend. That was nice. Yeah. So very fun, very cool. If you've never played in a honey heist, I've never seen a bad honey heist. I've never run a bad honey heist, and I've never seen a bad honey heist. So I don't know if it's possible to run to do it poorly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just an excuse to be silly, and you have some dice to help guide the silliness, and that's it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, then Saturday morning, Nether Bovine, aka GM Ryan, he went ahead and ran the Draw Steel introductory adventure, the Dalian Tomb. Now,
I regret not signing up for that,
bro. So, you want to talk about nostalgia-fueled euphoria, okay? When I made my Roll20 tutorial series to combat the despair I was feeling during the initial stages of the pandemic, I was like, I gotta do something, or I'm gonna lose my mind. And so I made the tutorial series.
Yep.
What was the tutorial series about? Colville's Dalian Tomb. That's what we prep in that series. Is this adventure? So it has a place in my heart. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Matt Colville's work, and it was only natural to be like, yeah, we'll use his dungeon for this. That's great. He's got all the stuff available. Look, cross promote, I guess, whatever. So to return to this adventure in this format was tremendous. And then, you know how I feel about 4th edition.
Yep.
This is 4th edition D&D. It is the thinnest veil. The thinnest possible veil has been placed over the top of 4th edition D&D. There were people who were speculating, is this like 4th edition D&D? It is. You don't need to speculate. It is 4th edition D&D, and it is really, really good. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was very cool. It was very, very cool. I don't know what else to say about it. It was great.
Drama.
Yeah, it was good. What I liked about it, and you also know that I don't really like super powered hero games, right? But for some reason, 4th edition D&D gets a pass, and I think it's because
it's very pulp.
everything is super powered. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
super powered, but then the orc backfists you and knocks you 25 feet through the air. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the
Mhm.
orc archer shoots 99 arrows at once, and it's actually an AoE attack. A regular orc archer has an AoE arrow attack. Like, everything's dialed up to 11, so it's not like you're dialed up to 11 anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're still in constant peril. You're still in constant
Yeah.
peril.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I also played a troubadour, which I love bards, and I love 4th edition, so I was playing a 4th edition bard, and she was some kind of bat elf, which you know I like bat girls, so like, I was just on the cloud 9. I was rolling really good. I was having a blast. Like, I wished it would never end. I actually messaged Ryan and I said, "Hey, you're not running a game, are you? You're not running a draw still, are you?" I mean, he's like, "Oh, I take it you're interested." And I was like, "I mean, I'm just asking if you're running it. I didn't say I wanted to play. I was just asking if you were running one and if there was room for another person because my friend might want to play." But yeah, it was really good. All right, so then we had Shards of Iron, which was six plus hours. Actually, they finished in 6 hours and 15 minutes, so as advertised, very nice. So this was guest GM Sonner, spelled with a 0 and a 3. And Sonner is, you want to talk about the Matt Colvilles, right? Like, Sonner is of that generation. You know what I'm saying? He's like an older GM. He's been around. He runs a shitload of Pathfinder 2. And it's and this was a homebrewed, high-powered adventure about an organization, like a independent, independent of all religions and governments, like organization of relic hunters that go around gathering up the remnants of like the gods themselves that were like killed and their weapons were shattered and stuff like that. So they go around like it's a very cool premise, right? Could be a sci-fi show, sci-fi channel show. You know what I'm saying? Like very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so he runs it sort of like a drop-in, drop-out, hot seat, West Marches sort of game on his server. And so he wrote this one-shot specifically for DirkCon, and he ran some of our Pathfinder Kid legends played in this game, including the Dr. Robin Zorro played in this fucking game.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I mean, pretty awesome. Fun trivia facts. GM Sonner went so hard. He went so hard on this that he gave himself a heart attack.
What?
Yeah, he had to go to the hospital afterwards because he had a couple of heart attacks. No. And I just want to say to the doctors that kept him alive, thank you. Because if someone had died at our memorial convention, that would have been like some Final Destination shit. I don't know what I would have done. So I appreciate Sonner's efforts. Maybe don't go so hard next time. And here's the real shit. Here's the real shit of it, Dom. I wasn't reading the Discord, right? But I messaged him and I was like, "How did it go?" And he's like, "It was good. I can get you more information later." I guess this is while he's at the hospital, right? And I'm just like oblivious. I'm like, "Well, if you had fun with this, maybe you want to do Extra Life this year." 25 hours of gaming, bro. And he's like, I don't think I could do that. And to my credit, I didn't go like, "Oh, what the fuck, bro? Ball, man up," or whatever. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's not for everybody. Then I go and read that he had multiple heart attacks. And I was like, I hope he understands that I didn't find out he had heart attacks and then invite him to do 25-hour marathon. I'm not in cahoots to try and take him out and get the insurance money for his ex-wife or anything. It's not what I'm after. But I don't know. The adventure itself was apparently really fun. I haven't got a chance to listen to it, but it sounded pretty badass. Every time I checked in on it, they were engaged and doing stuff. So yeah. Josh Butler, who ain't afraid to tell you how he feels, he said it was good. He said it was really good. So yeah.
If he says that, then it is good.
Yeah. Then we've got let's see. Oh, right. So then, while that was going on, we played some Jackbox, and in order to keep our jobs, our day jobs, we didn't stream or record it. But suffice to say, Haley was running it. Nathan was there. I was there.
And Dribblings.
I want to say, who joined us? Was it Salem? No, hold on. Who joined us? I'm trying to remember. They were Sam's friend. That is really cool. Can't remember the name, but they also won most of the games. But it was gosh, my brain is Hint joined us as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was great because Hint's English was not great, but it was great enough that he called out some of the mini games on their outrageous bullshit. And it was beautiful to hear. It was beautiful to hear. So yeah, we had a really good time. We designed some really sick T-shirts that you probably couldn't wear to work. Played some fun games. Then, when that was over, me and Brandon and Vegas, we joined up with Senrith and a few of his friends and players from his server, and we did a Don't Panic trivia game. And it definitely had the vibes of, I don't know how many conventions you've gone to, but at the conventions that pride themselves on 24-hour scheduling, there's always going to be some real unhinged shit going on after about 10:30 p.m. It kind of had that vibe where it's like there was barely any rules, barely any structure. Everyone's just like playing and having a good time and not stressing the rules. And it was actually a lot of fun. A lot of like trading stories about characters and campaigns, talking about 5th edition D&D and the journey that being a fan of 5th edition D&D has been, because it was 5th edition D&D trivia show. And then, of course, we discovered a loophole that made answering all the trivia questions super easy, which was Magic the Gathering, Universes Beyond or whatever. Because technically, everything that happens in Magic the Gathering happens in Dungeons and Dragons. So that means that the Ninja Turtles are part of Dungeons and Dragons, Transformers are part of Dungeons and Dragons, Walking Dead. Yeah, and so we kind of had a blast with that, where we started answering like these 5th edition D&D questions with like Michelangelo and like stuff like that, and it was awesome. It was awesome. It's like, name an iconic Dungeons and Dragons villain, and I'm like, Shredder. And Senrith was just like, someone shouted out Sephiroth. Senrith was he was pretty upset. He was pretty, but in a fun way. But you could tell it was like he knew once we had discovered that loophole that nothing mattered anymore. So it was actually a really good time. So while that was going on, you were over streaming Cryptic Muffin's Goblin game. So tell me all about that.
Yeah. All right. It was great. It was great. You know, just being goblins, doing goblin stuff, and it's 1E goblin, so like we're unhinged, and you know, reckless. So it was great. So yeah, it was the 1E movie goblins adventure. You know, we are goblins, a group of goblins who've been designated as heroes by our chief and sent to go do a mission for him. And there's goblin stuff ensues. You know, we end up having like a festival before we go out and deal with a bunch of silly goblin games that, you know, puts our health in peril before we go out on an adventure. And then we go on an adventure and, you know, and not worry about our safety, but we're doing something for the chief with our dog slicers and horse choppers and stuff like that. So it was great. It was great. Just, you know, just having a fun, low stakes, sort of unhinged, you know, Pathfinder game.
And this was the original Weeby Goblins, right? Like the first one?
Yeah.
Because I think there's 5 or something like that.
There's 5 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them, and I think all of them are Pathfinder 1E, and the only one that's 2E. I think 5 is the only one that's 2E.
I can't imagine that second edition Goblins could bring that same magic that the first edition Goblins could bring. I don't know. But I think these adventures are like the civil rights movement of Pathfinder Goblins. I feel like this is what got them into the player's handbook.
Yeah, so apparently the 2E1 is the lore behind how they became normal goblins. Apparently. Number 5.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So,
run
yeah,
I've run this particular adventure a few times, and it's always
Mhm.
just a blast. It's always a blast.
Yeah.
What was like the highlight moment? Was there like a highlight moment?
Let me see. Well, we had GM Ryan playing on a goblin. He was playing a goblin bard, and he was
Mhm.
constantly making goblin rhymes for everything he did, and it was kind of like man, this guy's too good.
Lore accurate, bro. Lore
Yeah,
accurate. He doesn't mess
yeah,
around. He does not mess
he doesn't
around.
mess around. Um, there was some fun moments where we ran into a horse, and like everybody who had dog slicers, it was not working on them. And then I had brought a horse chopper, and that's the only thing that we were missing with all the dog slicers. But then the horse chopper hit, so we realized, okay, that's why it's called a horse chopper, and this one's called a dog slicer.
Incredible.
You
Was
know,
that
like
just like luck, or was
luck.
that? Oh my
Yes.
God, incredible.
Yeah. And then afterwards we fought dogs, and then the dog slicers quit. So like it was sometimes the universe just
Oh,
aligns.
bro, yeah. The dice tell the story. The dice tell
Yeah.
the story. No more so than in Honey Heist, I've learned. That oh
Yeah.
my God. I mean, it's only a D6, so the story is definitely going to be told one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, one thing. Darby's character
Mhm.
was a rogue, and he just had the worst luck, dice luck, the entire time, and always constantly was the one like when everybody's standing like there's like parts of the adventure where like if the person's standing in the back, they're the ones that get targeted by this trap or something like that,
Right,
and he's
right.
like, okay, I'm gonna stand in the back because I'm hurt, and then he gets triggered it, and he's like, okay. You know what? Maybe I'm the rogue. I'm gonna stay ahead and keep an eye out, and then that's when he runs into the thing that messes him up there, and then every single attack he would miss, and then the creature will crit him. It was really bad for Darby,
Damn.
but we
Damn.
ran. It became a part of the story though, because it was pretty
Mm.
consistent.
All right. Well, then we moved on to Sunday morning, and because all day, every day, for the weekend, and that's when Sean S. He of the ginormous heart,
Mhm.
ran us through what honestly could just be packaged and sold.
Honestly,
Homebrew.
yeah. I
Yeah.
went back and watched it back. That was amazing.
Yeah. I was like, this is legit. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Hmm.
better than some products I've kickstarted. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is better than
Hmm.
some official products. Like this is really, really good. Um, this was another game where I just had like very good rolls, and I had a very good character, and I was like having a blast. Like, I was having a good time. Like, I really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the people that joined. Nobody brought like OP Pokemon or whatever. We all had like just Pokemon we like. We had two
Hmm.
people that really hadn't played any Pokemon since 2001, something like that.
Oh boy.
So we were kind of having fun with that, being like, yeah, there's 1,000 Pokemon now, old man, and just kind of like walking them through, like, like this Pokemon is like this, and this Pokemon's like that, and we kind of leaned into a sort of like Captain America vibe, where like Larry's character had been frozen in ice by Articuno back in like 2001, and he was only recently defrosted, and he's back out in the field.
It's funny too because he was also the generic like 1E, first generation Pokemon trainer,
Yeah, he's the ace
ace trainer.
trader with a
Yeah.
Flareon and a Vaporeon. It's like absolute classic, absolute classic.
Vanilla.
And then his girl was there, and she was playing Clever Girl was there, and she was playing the field medic, which was pretty crucial. It's like the healer class or whatever.
Hmm.
And then they had an Umbreon and an Espeon also. And so
Oh wow.
yeah, it was very fun.
Oh.
Have the Eevee representation. I got to have two of my favorite Pokemans, Serena and Miss Magus. Miss Magus was definitely powerhouse compared to Serena. I was a little sad for her, but just overall, it was really good. It was really good. The final boss fight had alternate mechanics to just fighting, had environment effects and stuff like that. Boss had a pretty good action economy to work with. It lasted, appropriate amount of rounds. There were a couple times where Pokemon were almost taken out by the boss, so it felt tense. It was just really good. It was like really well.
I mean, yeah, it's such a cool like concept, like because you never really think about it in the Pokemon games with the trainers doing anything, but like the trainer actions and then your positioning as a trainer also matters too, and like all that stuff's like really cool.
And we were weak, and the trainers were strong in that the utility they brought to the table was good, but they could be like one-shotted by most Pokemon.
Yep.
So you did kind of feel like, like, hey, I don't want to stick my neck out too much, but like I am here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch my Pokemon die. You know what I mean? Like you're trying your best. So yeah, I had a blast. I was really good. In full disclosure, I haven't played the fan-created Pokemon TTRPG. I know Remy ran a Pokemon TTRPG game for a little while, and he was having a good time with it. But I myself, I've never read the rules or anything, so I don't know like how that would compare to this. But I felt like this was very solid. Like it was very solid. Like I would play this again. I would play this again.
Yeah. Yeah, if the legend Sean S decides to run it again, I mean, I'm pretty sure some people, after watching it being played now and seeing the quality, like I'm pretty sure some people want to jump in, try it out. Someone who wants to get more play testers.
Yeah, and I mean, Team Genesis, their whole angle is they're trying to abuse Megastones and make new Mega evolutions that don't normally exist, and like. I mean, it felt like a Pokemon game, but it also felt like a tabletop game. And then at the same time, it wasn't bogged down by action economy, which I was worried would be a concern. So yeah, it was very good. It was very good. All right, so then Regretti's time. Not because it was bad, but because you and I got shut out in the fucking rain, bro. We got shut out in the cold. Too many people wanted to sign up for Dragonbane, and my heart's broken. and then I had to stream it, so it was like I was sitting in the cuck chair the whole time.
I was watching it from beginning to end. I was sitting there too watching. So, So you're in the chair. I'm in the window outside looking in.
You're on the balcony peering in. I'm there with the camera, the camera in the chair. Oh, it was terrible. But it was actually very, very fun to be watching it happen and see other people enjoy and explore the system and try it out. And I've never seen Lex GM before.
Same here.
I know that he does. I know that he has like a gaming group and everything like that. But I've never actually, to the best of my knowledge, I've never actually seen him run a game. So unsurprisingly, he's a very good game master. He did a great job with it. And my only regret, I like to see a little more murder, a little more player character death in my Dragonbane. They all made it. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. But apparently they were able to navigate through the adventure in such a way that they avoided like all of the hardest traps and encounters. Which did mean that Lex had to explain what the adventure was about at the end. Because they kind of skipped all of the plot relevant, encounters. Or did them too well that they didn't get to find out what they did. But that got me, that got my algorithm churning, and I became aware of the fact that they have released or re-released the original Dragonbane campaign. So back in like the 80s, they had their own Rise of the Rune Lords, you know what I'm saying? They had their own iconic adventure path, and they have, since that time, re-released it. It's called Path of Glory. And it is available for Founder VTT and hashtag not sponsored, and you can get it from their site, and you can get it from DriveThruRPG. But it looks great. The first adventure involves Minotaurs, which I thought was pretty fun because the one of the encounters I made for my sandbox game involved 2 Minotaur brothers, and so like predicting the future, I guess. But it looks really fun. It's a package deal. I don't know what a kroner is, but it's only 438 kroners. So whatever a kroner is knock yourself out. But look, they even got these beefy boy minotaurs on the cover. Path of Glory was the first major adventure campaign released for the original Swedish edition of Dragonbane RPG in 3 installments during 1985 and 1986. The Dead Forest, Gates of Power, and Heart of Darkness. Ooh, just hearing the names.
An 80s adventure. Oh, man.
This new edition, reimagined and updated by Free League, and the original author, Roger Udenhagen, collects the trilogy in a single volume. This full-color hardback edition has been given completely new illustrations by David Brasgalia and a new cover art by Johan Urgerkrans. I'm sorry, everyone in Sweden. The rules are fully updated to the latest edition of Dragonbane, and the book includes a large double-sided map. Yeah, so...
Lex is saying it's on his list for the next thing he's going to run.
So, yeah, because I was talking to him because I needed to hear, I didn't ask him to say it, but I needed to hear him tell me that he was planning to run it so that I wouldn't try to run it. Because I was fiending hard for Dragonbane after watching them play it. That was another thing. Like, when I wasn't thinking about how cool the Pokemon game was or how much I want to and intend to run my own Draw Steel game, I was like, somebody gotta be running some Dragonbane, bro. Like, this is a crime against humanity that we don't have any Dragonbanes going on. And so when I saw this like adventure path, I was like, oh man, an actual formal adventure path. It's got a big old map, world map area. I just got all this cool stuff. I was like, I'm gonna run this. But then when he was like, it's on my list, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. So I emptied my cart. I was like, nope. I know that it's gonna happen for the server, so I don't have to do it. Thank God. But man, it was close. It was a close call. Poof. All right. So then we had another panel. Best pre-written adventures with host Darby, and Darby had 3 guest panelists. Probably the 3 most handsome men on our server were there, and yeah, they had a lot to say, but they still only took 1 hour because they're professionals. Yeah, let's see. They were talking about. Well, you take it away. What happened? What happened with this one?
So yeah, it was about the main focus was Hallmark adventures, pre-written adventures that are would you call it? I guess famous or infamous. They're become household names for the TTRPG genre, for the system that they're associated with, and then sort of how to identify them, what makes them Hallmark, and sort of what all of our favorites are, and why we think they should be considered sort of a Hallmark adventure. So we kind of went through all of that and sort of expounded on what makes it a Hallmark and why we think it should be, and then the adventures that we are currently playing and want to play, and sort of the future of what future adventures we think could be Hallmark adventures too. So it was a good panel. We very structured, thanks to Darby. He's a very good panelist, as we found out from the first one.
Yeah.
And so I believe first thing we started off with was just trying to define what each of us thought was a Hallmark adventure. And I think I think the one that kind of landed the most is that you really it's sort of arbitrary. It depends on the time, luck, and then not even just how well the adventure is, but more like time, luck, and if it's there when it's needed. A lot of the most Hallmark adventures, the adventures that are the most famous right now, are ones that were just released and there at the right time when the community needed it. And then the ones that are memorable after that after that group is selected, then it's the ones that are good and resonates with the community. But overall, I think we all kind of had different takes on what exactly makes it good for us, rather than generally. For me, it was more about expectations. If an adventure can meet if the expectations for the adventure are very clear from the get-go, so that nobody that usually leads to a very good campaign. And so a lot of times when an AP constantly leads to very good campaigns, they become a hallmark. I know. I think for you it was ease of running, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I consider a Hallmark adventure to be an adventure that I could recommend to other people, that I would want to recommend to other people, and that I wouldn't feel like a jerk recommending other people. Like, I want to be able to say, yeah, you run this adventure, you're gonna have a good time, your players are gonna have a good time. So a lot of adventures that people thought, I might recommend, did not make the list. Like, I would never tell another person to run Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Like, I would never in my life tell another person that they should run Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. That would never happen. And if anything, I would tell them, I think I've told a lot of people, don't run Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Don't do it. Because, yeah, like, there's just some adventures that, yeah, it takes a special group, it takes a special commitment, it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, or the adventure is like trying to get a master's degree at, like university. It's complicated. But there's a lot of other adventures that, right out of the box, pretty solid, or they're just very forgiving in, the way that they're written. So, yeah. But it was interesting to see some of the adventures that people were kind of bringing up and talking about, and I don't know, it was good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right, and then we finish up the weekend with Sword World 2.5, and what an emotional journey Sword World 2.5 has been for me. I actually wanted to run Sword World 2.5 last year for DirkCon. But there was the only way to support it with Foundry VTT would have been self-hosting, because the version for the Forge doesn't have any compendium support, so it's basically just a character sheet, and then you have to just fill everything out from scratch. That I coming home from a 2-week vacation to Japan and trying to get that prepped while recovering from vacation, and also catching up with my day job and my current ongoing games, was just like, it's just too much. But a year later, I am self-hosting games, and I went ahead and built a virtual machine, and I threw an older version of Foundry 13 on there. And I got Sword World working, I got the compendiums working, and in order to test everything and also test my own knowledge of the game, I did run a playtest the weekend before DirkCon, just so that we could kind of get familiar with the system and all that. And then I did write an original adventure for this, so I was pretty happy about that. And it even had a custom puzzle boss, because I wanted to respect those JRPG roots. And overall, I think it turned out really good. I remember Stone had this aha moment with the boss, and he's like, "Oh my god, the way the boss is designed, even if we didn't have any more magic to cast magic, we could still do this thing and cause magic to happen anyways." And it was one of those like smooth shave meme moments, you know what I mean? Where it just felt good.
The glasses, they glare.
Yeah, it just felt good to have somebody recognize your hard work. You know what I'm saying? And after that, like, they were really into the boss fight. You know, when you crack the code on the boss fight. Yeah. But everybody was very cool. The players were all awesome. Everybody really leaned into the anime. You know what I'm saying? And then we just we had a lot of fun with it. You know, we tried to have a lot of fun with it, and really tried to celebrate the source material. And I will say it was secretly an educational game, because I did teach them all about like the history of Sword World, and how it developed, and the current design situation, and the legal battles and stuff that are going on, trying to get the game actually legally translated, and just all of that. So I was really I was really using it as a way to just kind of vent my hyperfixation over this game. Sadly, I have to say that after a weekend of incredible games, including one of my faves of all time, Dragonbane, and then getting to experience Draw Steel, knowing that Dragonbane has solid VTT support, knowing that Draw Steel has its own dedicated VTT, so you know it's supported, and then knowing that Dragonbane has Sword World 2.5 has one guy trying his best to like support the system. If I were to run another game, like if I was to run a new game in the Monday night slot when they finish up Stolen Fate, I couldn't see myself doing a Sword World game. It just don't got the support yet. And I don't even know if I would want to run one in person because it uses tables. So you roll 2d6
That's a lot of tables.
And you have to look everything up on tables. To me, this is a game that will thrive with good VTT support. Like, this is a game that will be...
With how anime it is, too?
Oh, yeah. This is a game that if it could get some solid VTT support, it would be incredible. It would be so much fun. So I really am hopeful that the official translation project not only funds, but funds enough to get some VT. Even if we end up on Demiplane or Roll20, as long as they get onto a VTT, that's all that matters. Yeah, they could even hire this guy that did all the Founder VTT stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it could all work out.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it was very fun. It has a very first edition vibe, very anime RPG fantasy because it is
isekai.
It's what inspired. All of those animes and video games that we love. So
the anime is this.
And then I don't know if you saw this one, but the final all the combat is on the we did simple combat.
That's the thing that I'm like, man. Maybe this would probably be fun. Would I be okay with this in another TTRPG of like we're fighting a bunch of minions and not trivial encounters? Maybe we should do simple combat.
Well, I wanted to try and push simple combat by having like a pretty significant boss fight using their simple combat. And it honestly worked, man. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, the way the boss was designed, it made it even more stressful and engaging than if we had been on a grid. Because on a grid, people could have just ran away from this dude. But in the simple combat, once you're locked into a skirmish, for better or worse, you're in it. And there was just a lot of like class fantasy being lived out, and backlines casters are relying on the front line to keep them safe, and the boss had like shifting forms, so like he's immune to magic but not physical. Now he's immune to physical, not magic, and they're having to like get him to change back and forth between his two different forms, and it was very fun. It was very cool. And again, if Draw Steel hadn't been so good, I would be like, maybe I could make it work. Maybe I could put in maybe I could work extra hard in the Foundry mines and get this thing working. But nah, I'm good. I'm almost definitely gonna run Draw Steel as my next campaign in the Monday night slot. Simply because Voltron is 100% homebrew, and I'm already barely keeping up with 100% homebrew Skyhaven. So like I don't want to be locked into two completely homebrewed games. And if I ran, I think it's called like Punch the Sun or something. Let's see. Raw Steel the Sun.
Oh yeah. Something Sun. Yeah, they're coming out with the adventure.
Crack the Sun. Crack the Sun. Yeah, so Crack the Sun comes out in like December or something like that. Expected date. So like, read it over Christmas break, prep it over Christmas break, and then
isn't Crack the Sun supposed to be like another version of What'd you call it? Red Hat and Doom.
I mean, it do start with an invading army of hobgoblins.
Okay. All right.
But they have their own version of Githyanki.
What does that mean?
And so there's Githyanki involved, but it's like the legally distinct Draw Steel version. But I have news for you.
You gotta get that CJ
Scales of War actually had a faction of Githyanki that were the bad guys. In Scales of War. So this is 100% just Scales of War and Red Hand Doom. So this will be the third time running Red Hand Doom, I guess. But I am that's my plan. So that's what I'll be running. I guess we wouldn't start until January 2027, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but that's how much fun I have playing Draw Steel. That it's locked in my head. It's already locked in my head. All right, so we are doing good on time. I mean, we got 5 to 10 minutes. Let's look at chat. Hold on, let's see. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, babe. Oh, nice. More Cyberpunk, hell yeah. And then fans saying, yes, I want that Cyberpunk. And then Lex said, last year he was where I was, running and streaming games all 3 days. Nice. Other than Stolen Fate, I hadn't played with Dirk before, so I'm glad I was able to. Absolutely, he was so much fun to have at the table. So much fun. In the games that KNX/Brandon ran, the loop. Dirk was in that with us, and God,
his character was hilarious.
So funny, so much fun. Oh man, he just had like the driest wit. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be dropping jokes. A lot of people wouldn't pick up on it, and you'd just be like, "Damn, that was good. That was good."
He'll drop a joke, and then it takes you like a quick second to like realize that, and then once it hits,
yeah,
you're done for a good minute.
Well, we deprived the world of our beautiful selves by using the PNG tubers because we thought people were going to jump into community chat. But I guess I should have reminded them that they were invited to community chat.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I thought if people came to community chat, they could like chime in on stuff during the thing. Does anybody in chat like have anything about DirkCon that was like a highlight or a question or anything? While we wait for that. How did you feel about it? Like overall, good.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Because when it was like time to sign up and everything like that, at that time I didn't realize I didn't have time to run and play. So I was like, last time I ran something, this time I want to play. And so I signed up for something, and then like right before the signs, like right after the sign ups closed, finished, I was like, oh, I have more time, so let me go sign up for some stuff. So I missed out a little on playing some stuff and running some stuff. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching everything that was done. I enjoyed playing in, Greedy Goblins. I regret not being able to play in Dragonbane. But it was great seeing everything. Seeing Draw Steel for the first time was a good opportunity to finally see it done well with like sort of in person and genuinely not like actors trying to act, but like just people playing.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
It was nice seeing that. The Pokemon thing blew me away. So like, and then all the panels were really good too. So like, I think it was amazing. Glad to remember Dirk too. So overall, I think it was great.
Oh! Somebody jumped into chat.
Oh well, I didn't know it was an open invitation.
Yeah. What do you got? What's going on? Look at.
I'm good. I'm eating some Taco Bell. What's up with you?
Oh, I mean, do you have anything to add about DirkCon 2026?
Oh yeah.
Okay, we got.
It was really fun. I only got to run one game though. I was just really busy, unfortunately. But I got the wonderful pleasure to play with someone I've never played with before, and I really wanted to, which was DM Ryan.
Nice.
So it was really fun. I guess I've only like heard whispers of his style and stuff, and I really felt it like with him as a player. So I definitely want to play in a GM Ryan game in the future because he was very delight to have at the table. Very funny too.
Yep.
He brings a
The
very
rhymes.
he brings a very like coach of the year energy to whatever he's doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a legitimate energy. You know what I mean? Like you feel like a bit more energized to play or to run, or because there's like this, it's kind of contagious. You know what I'm saying?
You know, he kind of reminds me of Orf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little less cinnamon bun. A little less cinnamon bun. Yeah. But yeah. Orf is so busy nowadays. He's so busy. Like,
he's got a life. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a life the whole time. But
maybe
maybe he now has a life and gets sleep at night. Like that's what I'm thinking.
maybe that's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Oh man. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They brings that energy of like, well, yeah, okay, let's do it. So that was good. Because I had been very curious about his style. I'd even asked him like, if time ever permits, would your groups be okay with me just like loitering? Like I'm really curious about how you run your games, because he runs them at a pace that I don't know if I would ever be able to do as a GM. Maybe because I'm too indulgent of my drama kid players, but I don't know. And then I've seen it now in person. He described what he did to me, and I was like, sounds like a basketball coach. Sounds like you're just running up and down the court, being like, you got this, let's go, pass, shoot, dribble, pass, shoot. And it's like, that sounds exhausting, bro. but to actually have him as a player, see him as a player and see him as a GM, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get that the energy that he's bringing to make that happen and keep that pace. So very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys have to close this out?
No.
I'm looking forward to next year. I'm definitely gonna try to run different game systems next year. I was just so busy this year. I really just fell into Pathfinder, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what will be kind of fun is a little 5e one shot, just because
Well, that D and Don't Panic, that game show, that trivia game show with all 5e stuff, it got me. I'm not gonna lie, got me nostalgic. It got me real hard.
I wouldn't say no to like a 1 or 2 shot of 5th edition.
Some of the best games and years of my life were in 5th edition D&D. You know what I'm saying? Just because we had a bad divorce, you know what I mean, doesn't mean that it wasn't a good marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like
somebody's found their wisdom save right now.
But if I went back, it would definitely be to run Sands of Doom. It would definitely be to run Sands of Doom by
I've heard some good things about that.
Mr. Rex or whatever. It would, definitely be for that. But yeah, all right, sweet. Well, we got that one in the books. The next big charity event is going to be Extra Life in November. First weekend of November, I think. I think it's the first weekend of November. Might be the second this time. Might be the first time ever.
Any plans for that are blossoming?
Yes, they're locked in. So it's gonna be the same Megacorps, Starfinder Megacorps that ran last year's event. We're gonna chain off of that as we do. We try to chain everything together like Kingdom Hearts. You know what I'm saying? Kingdom Hearts. We just try to chain it all together and pretend it makes sense. But that same Megacorp is they're still in the Bloodsport industry, and they still want to have a Bloodsport marathon for the whole galaxy to watch and enjoy. But dungeon delving ain't enough. We need real drama, and there's no drama like family drama. So they went and found Tiamat's little sister, Rebecca, the one nobody ever talks about. And they've offered Rebecca a chance to train in their elite super dungeon. And then at the end of 20-ish meta hours of training, she will be able to fight Tiamat in a cage match in front of the whole galaxy. So anyways, what I need is 5 players to each play one of the 5 heads of Rebecca.
Oh,
I see.
Because we're using the Battle Zoo for Pathfinder 2e multi-head rules, and so everyone will be their own character, a different head, but they have to all control one body as they go through the dungeon.
Oh no!
Okay.
I feel like it was inevitable. I feel like this was an inevitable destination for at least 1 year. At least 1 year. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm already thinking of ways to encourage donations without blowing up my players because listen, we raised a lot of money last year, but I don't ever want to be there again. You know what I'm saying?
Neither does Jared, honestly.
Yeah, neither does Jared.
Like, I look back and I'm like, 3 hours. They blew these guys up for 3 hours. That's incredible. Like, that's a lot of money for charity, but wow. I mean, we got the Gestium, the goddess of music in there, and all she did was just mediate a cockroach touching a man's anus from the inside. I mean, she had a good time. But still, like, yeah.
Five the kids.
Yeah, five the kids.
Five the kids. So
yeah, that's what's next for charity. Right. Anybody that wants to run any sort of charity stuff on the server, of course, hit admin and talk about it and see what you got. I mean, charitable works, especially these trying times, that's huge. So if you ever are like, yeah, I'm gonna run an Extra Life adventure, I'm gonna run a Child's Play adventure, or a Relay for Life, or whatever you want to do, that's fine. But if you do Extra Life, you should join our team first, so that we can all. Communism, you know what I'm saying? We can all fundraise if we're on a team. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out in chat. Thank you everybody for participating in DirkCon. If you want to watch all the games and panels, they're all on one playlist now. Yeah, I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Alrighty. Take care.
Take care.